statement and to accomplish what we're out to do in stopping these bills. So I'm not going to take any of your time to tell you. These guys can speak for themselves. The union's here, the PBA's here, and I'm going to let them speak. But again, from me as the sheriff of the county, it's not me just sitting here as my personal opinion about them being bad. They're bad for everybody in the county. They're bad for every citizen in this county, and especially for the law enforcement officers. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Sergeant Gary Pierce, Gadsden PD.
My name is Sergeant Gary Pierce. I'm with the Gadsden Police Department, and I'll be speaking on behalf of the FOP Labor Union from Gadsden.
Can you spell your last name, please?
P-I-E-R-C-E. I want to start by saying this. You know, we've read over these bills. We've talked about it, had some meetings, and none of us standing up here as far as the union goes are against the Second Amendment. I believe there's more gun owners here than you'll find in any one spot, you know, combined. I think if these bills are passed, they're going to put us at a disadvantage. I mean, we're already at a disadvantage when we come to work, responding to pretty much everything. Countless fight calls. I mean, that's just run of the day, run of the mill on every shift you work. If we got folks toting around guns like this would allow them to do, we're going to be responding to fight calls with guns almost every call we go on. Like I said,
where we had an armed, barricaded subject. Under this bill, even though we know what that person's thoughts are towards law enforcement, how they arm themselves and that, they would not be precluded from arming themselves and walking down the middle of Broad Street today under this bill. And if we approach to find out what their intention is, then we run into the civil sanctions that have already been discussed.
And first of all, I want to say I support the Second Amendment. I support the people standing behind me today. And I cannot support this group of legislation that's before us for several reasons. I think, number one, it's a patchwork kind of solution to a bigger problem. As a group, this legislation is some of the worst I've seen come out of Montgomery. And, you know, I think there's a lot of legislators who are really trying to make things better for folks like the folks behind me in law enforcement. But I just think as a group, this is bad legislation. And I appreciate our law enforcement community coming out today to basically raise awareness. I mean, it's early enough in the game in most.
And with that on an officer's mind, am I meeting all the criteria? Am I going to get in trouble? It just takes their mind off their main purpose, and that's enforcing the law and making sure that our citizens are safe. For that reason alone, I can't support this bill.